Chemistry Room Fragrances is the perfect addition when elevating the vibe of any space. Whether if it's your home, car, or office, and something needs a quick refresh, our room fragrances provide that beautiful burst of fragrance with just one quick mist. Shop now at www.chemistryroomfragrances.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Chemistry Room Fragrances. Chemistry Room Fragrances. Smells so good.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey there.
It's so good to have you here. I'm super excited about this conversation, much needed conversation. So we're gonna kick things off. Before we do that, I do want to welcome everyone in. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Camille Essick. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Be sure to tag someone right now. We are live. Catch us right now on YouTube and Facebook. And if you missed it, you definitely can catch the replay later. Go to my website right now at chemistryroomfragrances.com. Use this coupon code and get 15% off at the checkout after you subscribe. If you want to save, you got to subscribe first. So that being said, listen, it is a D9 situation tonight. I'm super excited. Indiana is in the building. KA-SG roll. You know, it's what it is.
Yes,
so tap
indeed.
in and bring a friend. And we're here. This is Sergeant Terris Thomas. He is from the Jackson Police Department there in Mississippi. Yes, in the building. So he's a new face. We actually connected through TikTok. And it is such a small world because, you know, you start talking to people and you're like, oh, you know, so-and-so. And you cannot believe who knows whom, but you don't know unless you reach out. So that being said, we're going to get things kicked off tonight. First of all, Terris, how are you doing? How are you doing? Like, how is your vibe? How do you feel today?
I'm doing pretty good. Went to work, had a little part-time job. I went today. Had fun there.
Okay,
Had
so
had a good little fun with everybody. And now I'm home, ready to have a good discussion.
good. So I do, before we hop into it, let's do a little icebreaker. So what is your background? Like, what inspired you to be a police officer?
Well, that goes back to my senior year at Alcorn State University. I was about to graduate. I was a political science pre-law major,
Okay.
and I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to go to law school or not. And the chief of police at the time at Alcorn State, she always used to come eat at the restaurant I was working at. And she always asked me, what are you going to do after school? And I was like, well, I really want to go to law school, but I really don't have the money to pay for it. So she's like, well, if you come work for me at the police department, I'll pay for your master's. So got me a free master's, got certified to become a police officer. And I fell in love with being a police officer. And I've been doing it for going on 14 years now.
That's awesome. Kudos. And I think it's so important that we have Black men in uniform, just because I think it's important that we have people that are familiar with our community, our culture, that knows how to speak our language. You know, we know how to code switch easy. I say, you know, most Black people are bilingual. We speak boardroom, but we can speak that Black language too.
Yes.
So, you know, we know when to turn it on and turn it off. So before we hop into the premise of this conversation, can you really speak on how imperative it is that we have Black faces in uniform?
Well, of course, especially after all the law enforcement shootings on our Black men was going on, we were getting a lot of feedback of like, which side do you stand on? I'm like, look, I'm here to protect the community, regardless of what's going on within the country. I'm here to make sure my community and the people, the citizens, are taken care of. So
Right.
I'm like, regardless of the fact, when I take off this badge, I'm still a Black man, regardless of the fact. So
Right.
I go out there and I show them, hey, look, I'm here. I want to educate you all and make sure you know your laws and know your rights as well.
Good. And so do you ever speak with the other officers as far as just kind of being like the bridge or the mediator, or just kind of explain some things to them? Because maybe a lot of officers that don't look like us don't come from our communities. So they're not familiar with our vernacular, how we move, our culture, our people. So have you seen yourself to be an instrument to kind of be a bridge or shed light on culture?
Well, majority of everybody that works, we all have a good vibe together.
Okay.
I never ran into the situation where there's we're divided.
Right.
Everybody knew we had a purpose and we had something to do. And the main thing was go out there, make sure that people still have faith in the police, regardless of what our skin color is. Hey, we're here to do a job. We make sure we're here to protect you all.
Good, really good. I really like that. I always, honestly, you're the first police officer, as far as this platform that I've had on, to have a one-on-one. And maybe because that's such a touchy subject, maybe we can talk about that later.
Okay.
But I do want to get into the premise of this conversation. For those that don't know, or most of those that do follow me know that I was in the military for 8 years. In the Navy, I got out 2 years. And the last enlistment, I ended up becoming a paralegal for JAG, working with local and federal law enforcement, NCIS agents, looking at evidence cases. We would do safety talk, situational awareness. And so being in the Navy made me, my senses more heightened to what's going on around me. As they say, keep your head on a swivel.
Yes.
You probably heard that, Sergeant Thomas. And
Yes.
the things I see as far as when I'm approaching my car, getting in and out of my car, leaving my home, going to work. And I thought, we see stories, if you haven't heard about Laura Smith Fields, she was a gorgeous Black woman that she was dating online. She was murdered by someone she met online, white male. But because she's a Black woman, her case was not taken seriously by the police department. They kind of brushed her off. And we see this trend as far as Sergeant Thomas, when things happen to Black women, whether we're accosted, we come up missing, whatever, it's like the effort and the energy is not placed into us. As far as if there's a white woman that goes missing, you see dogs and helicopters and you hear the story every day, but there's so many Black women that go missing and it's not discussed. If you just like me that's engaged in the news, you see it and you're like, oh my God. But a lot of times our cases are not given that much energy. So what I wanted to do, and it just really dropped in my spirit, for us tonight to sit down and talk about some things we see women doing when we're out in public, and how we can be more aware of our surroundings. Let's just take it from the top of the day. And anytime I do want you to be the authoritative voice in this conversation, Sergeant Thomas. So let's say I'm walking out of my house and I have my phone, and a lot of people I've seen walking out of your house, going down the stairs or leaving your breezeway, and you're on your phone, going to your car. So let's start with that situation. What's wrong?
All right. For one, you're not aware of your surroundings. If you're sitting there looking at your phone, you don't know what's going on around you at the time. So majority of the time, whenever you are going to your car, going to a vehicle, or leaving a building or anything, always make sure to look around. Make sure your surroundings. Make sure nobody's watching you. Always stay aware. Like you said, keep your head on swivel. So you have to be cautious. You have to be aware.
Okay. So like, for example, let's say there's a young lady and she's in an apartment and maybe there are stairs, maybe she lives upstairs or downstairs. So should she, I would think, kind of look down the stairs as you're going down the stairs? I know some apartments are made where you can kind of see out, like look out as you're walking, as you're coming down the stairs, look again. And it's not to be paranoid or scary, but just to be smart as you're looking when you're going to your vehicle, looking up and down the sidewalk. Last week I was going to my mailbox and my neighbor was standing on his patio watching me, and I didn't even realize he was watching me until just I feel somebody staring at you, and I looked up and he was kind of like, and I was like, "No, you're a creep," but it's not getting it's sundress weather, men go for that, whatever. But at the same time, it's like you need to pay attention because there's people that they see you before you see them.
Exactly. You're exactly right about that.
Okay, so as we're getting into the car now, what's going on? What should we be doing?
All right. For one, nowadays, I know people see it on the movies. People just get in the cars and don't look inside your vehicle before you get into it. Sometimes people break into cars, and you never know if somebody's in the car. So as you're walking up to your vehicle, look inside. Make sure nobody's inside the vehicle before you get in it.
Okay. Now, Sergeant Thomas, I know people are like, oh, Cam, you're weird. This is what I do. So I was always told when we have our safety briefs in the Navy, when you unlock your car as a woman, you know how you hit it twice and it unlocks everything?
Right.
They were like, don't do that. Just hit it one time. That way it only unlocks the driver door.
That is
And
correct.
that's what I do. But to add on to that, as soon as I open my door and I have my purse inside, I hit the button again. So it's locked before I can close my door.
Right. Right. That sounds good. Because, nowadays I know the newer vehicles, once you start it up and put it into gear, the door is automatically locked.
And sometimes they don't lock until you drive off.
Exactly. Exactly. So like you said, that's a good thing to do. That's a good practice to keep up. Lock your doors once you get inside of it.
Okay. And then we're sitting in the car and maybe it's hot or cold and we're waiting for it to warm up or cool off. And you see people just sitting in the car on the phone. What's wrong with that?
Well, like I said, like you said before, if you're sitting down paying attention to your phone, you're not aware of your surroundings. If text messaging or social media, majority of everybody's on social media, looking at TikTok or any kind of other social platforms, and we're engaged in that phone and we're not looking around and seeing what's going on, somebody could easily walk up to the vehicle and approach you or try to get into the car. So yes, you have to, especially I know a lot of my friends, what they do is that's just their way of getting away from everything. They'll sit in the car and just before they go inside the house or whenever they get into the car. Yes. But that is extremely dangerous, especially at nighttime.
Right.
Because you, especially if you're not in a well-lit area, somebody can easily approach you real quick.
Okay. So let's see. I have heard stories. I listened to Ricky Smiley in the morning, and he was talking about, times I think it was like back in the 90s, he had been shot before, other things that's happened to him. And he has also mentioned how he was in the store and I think it was like 95. And how he got shot was the person he was robbing didn't have money. So the person out of aggression shot him.
Right.
And it was just like, at that point, it made him nervous. So he was, we talk about going to Atlanta and, got the water boys on the corner or whatever. And the young men are very aggressive. I go to Atlanta on a regular basis. I have friends down there. And the water boys can be very aggressive. But there's also not even just large or small cities, but everywhere, carjacking. Yes. So one of the things that I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you're pulling up to a red light, a lot of people, I hate people riding my bumper. That drives me crazy. So, Sergeant Thomas, what about those that pull up and then another car will pull in? And I've heard, well, if they wedge you in, then someone will come in and carjack. So what I've been hearing is it true that you should leave space when you're at a red light,
Yes, definitely leave space. That way, if somebody was to come up to your vehicle, you have enough room to maneuver around and try to evade and get away. Especially if you're coming up to a light and there's usually two lanes. If you're on the far right lane and close to somebody standing on that corner, that could be potentially dangerous. So get over to that left lane and get away from the person that's standing on the corner.
Okay. And it's no shade, but sometimes if I see, certain areas of town, if there's a bus and I see people on the corner waiting for the bus, and if I don't have to turn until later, like you said, I'll hop over and get into the far lane away from people in the corner, just because, like you said, people will come in, reach over, grab, stick up, carjack, rob, whatever. I have family in Oakland. My cousins, we were up there, and this Caucasian lady, she had gotten off the BART. She's down on her cell phone, not paying attention. She had a purse on the street side, which I thought, first of all, that's nuts. Right. Just holding it and walking, and this car pulls up and grabs her purse straight out of her hand and drags her down the street.
Oh, wow.
Because she's on her phone. So can you say attribute it to a lot of things that happens because people are on their phone, like driving, texting, walking in the store? Like, can you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, especially that cell phone. I swear it definitely is taking a lot of people's attention nowadays, especially texting and driving. If looking down while you're driving, maybe like a 5-second text, if you're going 55 miles per hour and you glance down and look at a text for a minute, by you doing that, you've driven a length of a football field. That's how.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's break this down, because so if I'm driving 55 miles per hour, and for 3 seconds, I look down on my phone.
3 to 5 seconds. Correct.
I've driven the length of a football field.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. That's how quick, and that's how fast people are driving and texting, and that's how far you've gone.
I never thought about that. That's crazy. And the thing is, I drive faster than 55. So, but yeah, I mean, I work my mom, you drive like your daddy, but you know, I drive fast. But wow, that's pretty quick. So
Yeah.
just in a split second, because I know people that drive and literally drive holding their phone. Like,
Yes.
just how do you? And that's one of my pet peeves because it makes me nervous.
Yes.
Or they're just be scrolling and driving, and I'm like, it's like the phone is so in their hand. Can you? I just really want you to dig into that driving with the phone in the hand, like that. Just oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, nowadays they are making that illegal in certain states. I know right now. I think juveniles. I know it's definitely while they're under, I think under the age of 18 or something like that, it's against the law for them to drive. I mean, text and drive. But they are making it now in certain states hand free. If officers do see, you know, you with an electronic device in your hand, you will get pulled over and get a ticket. So
as you should, because lives are lost, you know, with people with a phone in their hands.
yes,
So I do want to fast forward, Sergeant Thomas. We're having a safety talk here. So, ladies, you're coming out of the grocery store, you're on your phone, or you're in the store checking out and you're on your phone. Now you're at the door, and I've seen women do it. They'll have the wallet. Sometimes they're putting money in the wallet as they're walking out the door and on the phone at the same time. Can we talk about that? Like what? Like leaving the store? Like it's so much going on. Can we really unpack that?
yes, that is definitely a safety hazard as well. For one, you never want to walk out of a store and have money in your hand, because that you're a prime target for that right there. Because of course, people see, okay, that person has money or they have change or something like that, so that makes you a prime target. If you are on the phone, try to use like a hands-free device, like a Bluetooth, AirPods, earbuds, the newest technology, all that kind of stuff. That way, your hands can be free. Start getting your keys out of your purse before you walk out of the store. That way, you have them in your hand and walk into your vehicle, and you have no kind of distractions at all.
That's good. Okay, this is something that I do, Sergeant Thomas. You know, when they're checking you out and they're scanning, and then someone's bagging, you know, most grocery stores have huge windows that pan the store. So they're checking out, and I'm looking like out in the parking lot while they're bagging to see, like, you don't know who is out there watching or waiting. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And so I will, and there'll be people behind me like, okay, they've checked you out, hurry up. And I'll look back and I'm like, I'm not done, because
Exactly.
making sure my debit card, my credit card is put away. I'm making sure I have all of the things. I'm looking for my keys. And I've had people try to like push their cart to try to get me to move. And I stand flat foot and I'm like, I'm not finished, because I don't want to get to the door and I'm trying to find keys or whatever.
Right.
It's just as for women, we can be such prey in a split second if we're not paying attention, and then walking out of the door. Honestly, Sergeant Thomas, I'm looking around, you know,
Right.
I'm like watching. I don't unlock my car from the store. I wait till I get at my vehicle and then I unlock my car.
Exactly.
When I'm putting my groceries in, you know, like I said before, I unlock that one button. But then when I'm putting the food in, I'll unlock it, but I'm loading from the driver's side.
Right. Right.
So you can't just, if somebody's coming at me, I can see you, and you're not coming from behind me because my back is to the store.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Good.
Well, let's talk about what's going on. What do you see as an officer? Some of the things that tend to stick out to you as far as other mistakes being made.
Well, I would say, well, one thing, whenever you are traveling home, either from work or any kind of social event or whatever, try not to take the same route home every day.
Why?
Because people, they if they are watching you or anything like that, or they just want to follow you, they'll follow your same routine. If you have the same routine every day and you're that predictable, that's a prime easy way for you to get taken or to be kidnapped. So if you live in a subdivision and there's two ways to get in or there's two ways to get out, take a different route. No, go around and take that route home. That way, nobody never could predict your way of going home.
Okay, because I think sometimes we get so focused on, oh, I'm tired of work, I just want to get home, and we just want to get there. And then again, at the red light on the phone, music's going, we're thinking about what we're going to eat. And we're just, like you said, humans were creatures of habit.
Right.
So that makes perfect sense too. Even though it may be the shortest route, sometimes, like you said, go the longer route, maybe an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, extra 5 minutes, right. It's not going to hurt at all. Also, whenever people are going out and going to different social gatherings where alcohol is involved, somebody has to be the responsible person. Okay. If you're going in a group, make sure one person, okay, look, it's your turn, to be the designated driver, or because it doesn't help if you're in a group of three, all three people are intoxicated. Who's going to take care of who?
That's true. So let me ask you this, because we hear about people now using, I call them herbalists, and I know some states are for it, some are not. But can you kind of touch on a little bit as far as going green and driving, and how unsafe that is? Can you kind of touch on that for a moment?
When you say going green, yes. Well, with that, especially if you're getting it from somebody else, you never know what that person is putting inside of that product.
Right.
Everybody's not looking out for your safety. Most people are just trying to get a quick book or trying to just make some money. So, of course, I can't do it. I don't refer my friends to do it at all because, like you said, you never know what somebody would slip into those kind of products.
Exactly. It just seems like, doesn't that, like with alcohol, doesn't it impair your driving?
Yes.
Time?
Yeah, because most people, alcohol is a downer as well, so it slows everything down. And the same thing with some of these products, because regardless of the fact, because I know most states are trying to make it legal, but it's still, they're just like alcohol. Alcohol is legal, and even though these herbs are legal as well, but you cannot operate a motor vehicle while you have this in your system.
Right, because your response time is slowed down.
Yes, it slows down.
Okay. So I think as states continue to discuss that's going to be an ongoing conversation. But I was just really curious as far as that. Just in my mind, I put that in the same category as alcohol or any other controlled substances altering your ability to respond quickly and spur of a moment, particularly with driving. Right. I live in Charlotte, and here it's like home of NASCAR, and everybody thinks they're Jeff Gordon, driving on 85, and they drive. You hear on TikTok, these memes about the Nissan Altima flying down, right? And it usually is somebody's raggedy Nissan Altima driving crazy. But it's like when I was living I was stationed in California, and their white lining with motorcycles is legal, and so so bikes would ride the white line in traffic. And here I've seen people do it, even though I know it's not legal here, it's not safe. Right. But there's been times where I've almost clipped someone on their bike because during rush hour, traffic is slow and they are hitting the white line to cross traffic. Right. So can you imagine how if somebody was eating a brownie or whatever and they had not seen that person and their ability to stop? Right. That could have been fatality. Right.
Like you said, your reaction time is slower. So you're not paying attention, and you definitely wouldn't see that person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So going back to situational awareness and safety, Sergeant Thomas, when someone's leaving a store, should they beeline straight to their car, or should they maybe kind of zigzag a little bit through the parking lot to get to their vehicle? Like, what would be the best way to do that, particularly for a single woman?
Being at night, if it was nighttime, I would say definitely go straight to your vehicle. Mm-hmm. If you have try to park as close as you can to the store as possible.
Okay.
Parking at far away. I know a lot of people don't are scared of, well, people hit vehicles with buggies and stuff like that. So yeah, during the daytime, yes, pretty much is okay. But during the nighttime, I would say park as close as you can. That way you can get into your vehicle, put everything in, and go on about your business.
Okay. So then I don't have children, but for those that may be single moms, and now we see younger kids being picked up, what advice do you have to those that may have parents with small kids back and forth to school? We're getting to summer. Here, Charlotte is a very busy city, and I've seen kids that will cross lanes of traffic to go across the street to get a bag of chips, and I'm like, where is your mother? So can you kind of touch on some of these safety things with kids that are getting picked up, getting snatched, because we do see kids being are kidnapped as well, as far as things parents can tell their children for safety as well?
Ooh, yeah, that is a real touchy subject. Well, what I could say is parents nowadays, they really need to pay attention with their kids. Back in the day when I was I was younger, my folks used to leave me in the car and while they go into the store. I mean, and that was normal. That was normal back in the day.
They're like, don't open this door. Don't. You need that disclaimer speech.
Yes, and back in what that was the 90s, you didn't have to worry about things like that. But now it's a cruel world that we live in. So what I would say is, for one, never leave your kids in the car. Whether it's running or not running, do not leave your kids in the car at all.
Yeah.
Make sure whenever you send your kids off somewhere, make sure you know who they are with. Well, I know when I was growing up, my folks hardly ever let me go anywhere with anybody unless they were family. Yeah. So make sure if you're allowing your child to go with somebody, make sure you have the parent's phone number. Make sure if the child has a phone, there's an app called Life 360 on there. Put that app on the phone. That way you can look at your child's location. Okay. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can do just to just be a better parent. You know what I'm saying? Just take care of your children, because it's a hard and tough feeling whenever we have to go and notify some parent that something has happened to the child. And that's one of the worst feelings ever. And I've given those kind of notifications before.
Because you're a parent, right?
Yes. I have a 12-year-old.
Oh Lord. And I know it just makes your gut just wrench.
Yes. So especially when stuff like that happens, I'd be glad to get home and hug him and kiss him. I'm like, son, I love you.
Yeah. So let's talk about these dating apps. And I know you've probably seen all kind of crazy things. So there's a case, Laura Smith Fields, for those who are not aware. She was on one of these dating apps. I don't know if it was Tinder or Bumble or whatever. I'm not super familiar or up on. There's so many apps out there, but she was on an app and she met a guy, white male. And long story short, they found her dead. And the guy that allegedly killed her, he claims that she OD'd, she was using alcohol, and and she was the last person to really be in heavy contact with her, and the police didn't even so much as question him or consider him as a suspect. And so when her family found out about how she died, they were like, she doesn't even use drugs. That's not even her. And so they were calling the police, saying, hey, our daughter was murdered. And they pretty much told the family, stop calling us.
Right.
And it wasn't until TikTok, the TikTok police started putting things together, and you're on there as well. As far as you see how people string these timelines together, and then it made CBS This Morning with Ms. Gail King, and that's when the story got highlighted. Right. But yet, as of last I've heard, the guy that allegedly murdered her has still yet even been charged with her death. And what's so funny is 2 days later, another Black woman, same exact circumstances within her living radius, was found dead, and they believe this guy is the same guy that killed her.
I got you.
So as we talk about that, Sergeant Thomas, can you talk into, as far as dating apps, what to look out for, the dangers if you decide to do it, some things to protect yourself?
Well, the dating app thing is kind of new. But what I would say is, whenever you find somebody, do a little background search. You can Google somebody nowadays. You can Google people and find out information on them. Find a way to call them. Just make sure this is the right person that you're talking to, because catfishing. People are definitely catfishing nowadays, saying they are somebody who they're not.
Right. I would say too. Again, this is my military side. Hey, it's so simple to pull up the county, city, and state Department of Corrections and federal Department of Corrections. All you need is a first and a last name and male, female, race. Boom. You'll be surprised what can come up.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And what else to say? Also, just make sure if you are meeting somebody, meet them in a public place. Never, agree to meet with them, until you get to know them. Never agree to meet at their house or meet at your house. Always meet at public places.
Right. It's just, I think sometimes people get so caught up in wanting to meet someone new, just little things. This was a while ago, and I'm not dating or whatever, but one time somebody did ask me out to lunch, and the lunch I was like, and they wanted to have another lunch the next day. And I would say to ladies, follow your discernment, listen to your gut. If you got that feeling like something about this is not right, you need to listen to that. So Sergeant Thomas, I had like a little bit of information just talking. And as you know, with law enforcement, it's also not what they say, but what they don't say. And sometimes when you're asking questions, is how you phrase the question. And so I was able to learn enough about this person after we had lunch. I was sitting and their voice was like, hey, run their name in the Department of Corrections because they're from New York. Sir, when I say, oh my God, all this information came up for New York, state of New York. I was like, this is Suge Knight right here. Even though they presented themselves to be like a debonair, very clean, like Grandma said, was slicker than a can of oil. I was like, this dude is too smooth. Something here is not right. And so then I was sitting there, I was like, let me run them for North Carolina, bruh.
Wow.
Put their name in Google, or old people say the Google. I'll put their name in Google. And all this stuff was coming up, and I was like, "Oh my God, block, delete."
Yeah, women's intuition.
Yeah, you have to follow it, and it's nothing wrong with putting people's name in the Department of Corrections, state, federal, city, town, country, all of it, all of the things. Just all of the things. There's so much out here. Definitely do that, ladies, for sure. Yes. So, let's say you have someone that goes missing, Sergeant Thomas. How critical are the first, the show First 48, how critical really are the first 48 hours when someone goes missing?
Very, very critical. Now, I don't want people to think, I know people watch TV. There's no such thing as waiting 24 hours before you report somebody missing. That is a myth. Yes, that is a myth.
We always hear you have to wait 24 hours to file a report. So that's not true?
That is not true. Definitely not true. You do not have to wait for it.
So what's the rule of thumb?
I mean, I've heard people like they haven't talked to them within an hour and they've called. They've called and say, hey, I haven't talked to this person in an hour. I usually talk to them around this time. Can I go check on them? And we'll go do a welfare check, make sure they are okay.
Wow. Now, I heard stories about people doing that, and then with good reason they've entered the home and found the person dead in the house.
Right.
Just because if someone is known for, calling back within an hour and they're like, that's not like them. Because most people, like your family, they know you and they know of Sergeant Thomas. If we've called and text and it's been 3 hours and we haven't heard from him, something's not right.
Right. I mean, and of course that's our job. So if somebody calls and say, hey, look, I haven't spoke to this person in so long or whatever. Hey, can you go back and check? And we go back and check and we haven't seen, we don't make contact with them. We'll contact the person to call. Hey, look, we went there. We didn't make contact with them. If you want to come down and file a missing person report, you can do so.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Sergeant Thomas. Like the case with Laura Smith Fields, where the police department is saying, "Hey, don't call us anymore," and they're blowing off the person. What should the citizen do if they're not getting a good customer service or good response from that particular person from the department? What is the next step?
The next step is always either go to a supervisor. If you don't feel the supervisor is doing anything, call whoever the person above that. If it's the chief, call the chief. Then go to the mayor. And then majority of the time, whenever you need to get things done, social media. Social media is always the way to go. If you put that person out there, say, "Hey, look, this person's missing," and when people, because it's like it's a domino effect. Once one person sees it, they'll share it. Then another person share it. Then another person share it. And that's how you get
to be put on blast anyway. So social media is like, "Oh, you're not listening to me? Oh, okay."
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, that's what we do. Whenever we need to put information out there, we put it on social media. But yeah, if you don't feel like that department or whatever is doing what they need to do, put it on social media.
Okay. Well, what's that saying? The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. So we're here talking about safety. What are some things, Sergeant Thomas, that you've seen that are trending as far as crime or things that could be prevented just by people not paying attention? Or first of all, the first question is, what do you see now that's on the rise as trending that the average citizen should look out for or be aware of?
Well, I would say is whenever majority of people are going out, they're getting extremely intoxicated, and they're either taking Ubers home or Lyfts home. Now, those, I mean, I know what's the word? Now, back in the day, we would never ride with a stranger, but nowadays, now we're getting in the car with people that we do not know and trust them to drive us home. So that is already, a big thing as it is now. But then you're intoxicated and you're in a vehicle with a stranger and you're trusting them to take you home, but you never know what that person's intentions are.
Wow.
And plus, the only thing you have is a name on an app. And who says it's the real name that's on that app?
With the Uber, Lyft, the ride shares.
Exactly.
So
yes.
How can people prevent this from happening when they are becoming extremely intoxicated and they're using the ride share services? Like, and I'm glad you brought that up. Like, can you kind of dig that out a little bit more, unpack that a little bit more?
Well, I know majority of people are using iPhones now. Share your location with somebody. Mm-hmm. Make sure you let somebody know where you are. Hey, look, I'm getting to, I'm calling an Uber. Here's this person's Uber driver's information. This is the person that's picking me up. Send it to somebody. So if something were to happen, then you would be like, hey, look, this is the person she was with last. She took an Uber, and this is the person's Uber information right here. Okay. Those things like that could easily, help out if something were to happen.
Okay, and shouldn't they? And I'm just throwing this out there, just guessing. So let's say I'm out and I'm calling an Uber. Should I not? And some people, the car pull up, they don't even check. They just hop in the car. So you're saying that before you do that, you need to make sure the description of the vehicle is matching what's on the app.
Right.
Because the license plate is there, right? Like checking the license plate, what's on the app, and then checking the face of the driver, what's on before you get into the car. Correct.
That's the best thing to do, to make sure you are with that person that they say that's on your app.
Wow. Because like you said, if someone, and even if they're not intoxicated, just in a hurry, particularly at airports, I've heard stories of people, particularly women, getting kidnapped at the airport because they're traveling, they've reached their destination, they've got bags, and some of these drivers are aggressive, like, hey, get in my car. And you're just like, okay. And you haven't checked anything because you're just ready to go. You're tired. And it's like, is this even your driver?
Exactly.
Wow. So what else, Sergeant Thomas, that you've seen, Sergeant Thomas, that's trending or something else we should look out for?
I'm trying to think what else have I seen lately.
Because I know like in Atlanta, they're doing the gas pump scams in certain places where you put your card in to pay for your gas and then $1,500 is gone out of your account.
Right. Oh yeah. The skimmers. Yeah. The card skimmers.
Yeah.
Well, now of course, nowadays people really don't just carry cash on them anymore.
Mhm.
If you do use a pump, make sure it's a pump closest to the gas station, because what people are doing nowadays, they're going to those outside pumps because usually the cameras are not reaching that far out to those pumps. So that's when they're putting the skimmers onto those card readers.
Wait a minute. Okay. So you're saying there are certain pumps at the gas station that have a blind spot.
Right, correct.
So the scammers are using those pumps.
Yes, the ones that are farthest away from
Okay.
the store.
Or just go inside and pay with your card.
Right, right. Or use cash. No, like I said, a lot of people don't use cash nowadays. But if you do use your debit or credit card, try to bypass the password part,
Okay, why?
because that's how some of the skimmers are. Because whenever you put in your password, the skimmers is a mechanism that goes from the credit card to the machine. And what they're doing is they're putting something in. They're putting the card skimmer in between the credit card, the reader, and the actual machine. So therefore, it's going from the credit card reader into their database. That's how they're receiving all your information.
Almost like it's like a duplicate scanner inside the machine.
Correct.
You think you're sliding into the gas station, but they've inserted another like reader in it.
Correct.
So you're actually using their reader, but it looks like it's the gas station's reader.
Correct.
Shut up.
It's the truth. If people use all this, if people use all this is evil for good.
All this is like, if you're that creative, why not start a legit business? Like, that is so crazy. It's just simply, it's too much work.
Yes.
Too much effort. Oh my gosh. So before we wrap this up, so we're ending the day. Let's say we're at the parking garage and we're coming or going. Maybe there's an event, you're going to see a game, or maybe your job and you're parking in a garage. What are some things people should pay attention to coming in and out of parking garages and stairwells and elevators?
I always look to see if people are sitting in cars. Majority of the time, people are sitting with cars running with the lights off. Just waiting to see if they can catch somebody not paying attention, like you said, looking down at your phone, trying to get their keys together, or wait to see if somebody's intoxicated, not paying attention, and disoriented. So just make sure that the people are not just sitting around, posted up, just walking. I mean, of course, you see a group of people just sitting chatting and stuff. Just be cautious of that, because you never know what their intentions are.
Okay, because I had a friend of mine. They live in Atlanta, and they have a tendency to work out like at 4 a.m. And always putting the wallet in the console or your car, and then walking in the gym. And just based on what they were telling me, someone had, I guess, been seeing them doing this on a regular basis. So this particular morning, there's a truck sitting like in the corner of the gym parking lot with the lights off, and then another black Charger with no lights. That's like the official car of all things crazy.
Yes.
And so it was like the vehicle pulls up while he's in the gym, and they broke into like their car, another car. Luckily, I don't think they got his wallet, but they got someone else. They had hit like 2 or 3 cars because it was 4 a.m. and while the people were working out. And it was like, to me, I just would not put my wallet in the car like that.
Right.
I don't know. I would just take it with me in the gym. Or what I do is I actually, on your phone, there's a section where you can scan documents. And I actually have a photo of my license, car insurance, COVID card, all that stuff. I just have to leave in my wallet, Apple Wallet. So that way I just have my phone and I don't have to take those things with me because it's on my phone.
Exactly.
Just to prevent that. And I don't have a wallet or something, because people can see if you're bending over, they can tell
what you're doing
under your car. They're watching you. So
exactly,
if you lift it up, they know.
Oh yeah, that you're putting something in there. Oh yeah.
Wow. So if there was anything like you would want to suggest that people do, just final thoughts as we're wrapping up, what are some final takeaways and nuggets you would like the listeners and viewers to get from this conversation as far as having situational awareness, particularly for young ladies, but anyone? What do you have for us, Sergeant Thomas?
What I would say is, like I said, if you're ever going out or doing anything, always let somebody know where you're going. Let somebody know who you're with. Just, be cautious of your surroundings. Make sure that you have your head on a swivel. Like I said, we're not trying to make anybody paranoid or anything like that.
But
we just want you to be smarter and to take those 3 to 4 seconds to look around. It doesn't take long. If people send a text quicker than that, so you can look around and see what's going on and what's in your surroundings.
Yeah. One of the things I do, Sergeant Thomas, just leaving, I put my phone in my bag. That way I'm not even tempted, because I'm driving and I can't respond to you like that anyway. And I'll get alerts on my Apple Watch or whatever. And I'm like, when I get to my destination where I can sit down and look at it, I'll do it then. But just for me, to me personally, there's nothing that important. There's no notification that important where I'm going to stop while I'm driving and to check my phone, because like I said, I live in a large city. People are driving crazy, and it's too much. And now most vehicles have a screen, so now the social media is right there, and you're trying to. It's just too much. So I feel like you're gonna lose your life over a text. And a lot of times the text is nothing. It's just, hey girl, what you doing? What, just
LOL. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you just trying to see if your picture went viral? I mean, really, and more times than not, it didn't.
Right.
At the same 30 people that liked your picture yesterday.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So for those that don't know, you have a sense of humor because you are on TikTok acting a whole fool. Like I told you before we got started, I was like, they gonna lock me up at work because I was about to scream. So first of all, what are you doing on TikTok? Aren't you supposed to be protecting the servant? What's going on?
I'm protecting the servant as well, but I started my little TikTok journey right when the pandemic was going on. Of course, majority of people were stuck in the house, but unfortunately, I had to still work. So while people were at home, stuck in the house, I said, might as well give them something, to laugh, because everybody was depressed. Locked in the house for maybe a couple weeks, almost months. So while I was out patrolling,
years we were in the house quarantined.
Yes, quarantined for a long time. So I was like, why not give somebody, give people laughter, something to laugh about, something to keep them going, something to keep them motivated. Yeah. And I've just been going since then.
I know, because I was like, oh, he got 6 figures followers. Okay. Like, it is funny. And it's just so crazy because you posted something. I was like, this dude was crazy. Like, it was just so funny. And the creativity of like how you put your videos together. There's one you did the other day, which we talked about the guy, and you stitched it, and the guy was throwing the football and he ran into the car, and you was just like, put a Band-Aid on that. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. It's funnier if I can't tell it right. You just have to go follow him. So if those that want to connect with you on social media, or if they have more safety questions, Sergeant Thomas, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at Country Noop. Country's with a K, because I'm a Noop, of course. Country Noop 8 on IG or TikTok.
Awesome. And if they have questions as far as other safety information, do you have an email that you wanted to share, or would it be best for them to reach you on social media?
Yeah, you can reach me on social media, or if you want to reach me by email, my email is thomas@byram, BYRAM-MS.US.
Okay. Awesome. Well, everyone, I hope you got something from this conversation. I think it was very important. It's not a popular topic, but I feel like it's a very important topic. Just as the weather is warming up, people are going outside, more things are happening. And I just want you guys to be safe out there as we get into all the seasons, graduation season, prom season, vacation season, whatever your season is, all of the seasons, we want you to be safe. And so that's why I thought it was very important to have this conversation. So with that being said, everybody, it's your girl, Camille Essick. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Be sure to go to my website and shop. Use the coupon code GBM15 to save after you subscribe at the checkout. Get all the merch, all my room fragrances, ebooks, books, and all the merch. T-shirt, Good Black Men still exists because all of them are not bad. My merch is out there right now. Go grab it. I have various colors available so we can get you ready for summertime. Those summertime preparations is a real thing. So if you have any questions, be sure to hit me up. Shoot an email at info@CamilleEssick.com or at the speakerpodcast@gmail.com. And with that being said, you guys, be blessed. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye.